And back again with Trackside Northeast. I'm your host, Joe Cortez. We have a lot to talk about today, folks. New Hampshire, what a race weekend. A lot of folks showing up for the Modifieds, the Cup Series, Xfinity Series. Channel 12 got a chance to go up there. We had some great coverage, and I'm joined today by Kyle Souza. Kyle, we're back again because we have a big weekend coming up at Seekonk.
Yeah, New Hampshire in the rearview mirror now. NASCAR's only playoff weekend here in New England. But, yeah, we got a big weekend down at Seekonk Speedway coming up. Looks like the weather's turned in our favor, so that's good. As we crown our champions, our 80th season coming to a close this weekend. And all 9 divisions will crown a champion as they run their final races of the year. Not our final event of the year. We've got the Pumpkin Smash coming up at the middle of October, and we've also got the Haunted 100 at the end of the year. It's kind of the final short track race. But championship time, the year's gone by so fast, and it's already at the end.
I feel like we just had our first get together like a couple weeks ago, more like 3 months ago now that you look at it. But no, it was a favorable year weather-wise for the weekends.
You know, I was thinking about that on the ride up here this morning. We talked about this off the air a couple of days before. The weather's been pretty good, and this past week, even a couple of days ago, we were looking at this weekend like, looks like a wash, but knock on wood, right now it's turned our way. But yeah, we've had a pretty good year, Mother Nature-wise. Definitely have had worse in the past, so certainly a big deal when it comes to short track racing. It can't rain on the races, and we've had minimal rainouts this year on both Friday and Saturday, so it's about all you can expect for New England weather.
Big difference from last year. Last summer was like, every weekend I'd come into Anchor and I'd be like, oh no, how am I supposed to get people excited when it's supposed to rain all weekend?
Yeah, I feel like last year we had 10 or 12 Saturdays in a row. It rained, even the beginning of this year.
I think it was 17 in total for the whole summer.
It's just crazy, man. But it's been really good. Knock on wood, this weekend will be good. We're going to get a couple events left, and starting to plan season 81 already, looking at next year.
All right, so a lot to get to. So hey, let's go back to New Hampshire a little bit, start there. So had the Wheel and Modifieds. We had the Cup Series over the weekend, Xfinity Series. You got a chance to go up to New Hampshire. How was the atmosphere?
Yeah, the atmosphere was great. I was only up there for a couple hours Saturday morning with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Of course, the Modified Tour running down here at Seekonk this year as well. So they've been all over the place in New England, even some races down south. But the atmosphere was great, man. For a 9 o'clock race in the morning, I looked up in the crowd from on top of one of the haulers and was really impressed with how many people showed up at 9 a.m. There was a lot of coffee. The line for the shower at the campground was massive when I got there at 7 o'clock.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, people were ready, revving up. People were on their alcoholic beverages already that early in the morning. They were riled up. So
hey, it's New Hampshire, man. It's live for your die, right?
It was a heck of a show, though, coming right down to the end. The Tour always has a great race at Loudon. Reminds me of a Cup race at Daytona or Talladega in the last couple laps because of the excitement and the fire that they have in their eyes when they see the checkered flag. But Tyler Ripcomb had taken that Old Blue to victory lane, the oldest running car in the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour, oldest running family, and their shop is not too far from here as well. So cool deal to see them win, and a really cool environment for the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour to have that many people at 9 a.m. Didn't expect that many. I expected a good crowd, but not that early.
It's too early at that point. I mean, like, you wake up and it's just like, you have no time to, quote unquote, like pregame or get ready.
They made time. Some of them made time. I drove up from 5 o'clock in the morning. I got there at 7, and they were already pregame.
They were rocking, or just continuing from the night before. So hey, real quick, let's hit Joey Logano. We got a chance. So Kayla Fish and Mel DeSilva, both working here at WPRI, they got a chance to head up there and got a chance to talk to New England's own from Connecticut, Joey Logano. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Connecticut, so Loudon, New Hampshire is the closest track to home. I consider it my home track. There's a lot of memories here. I remember when I was 7, I came here for the first time and watched my first Cup race, and the weather was similar to it as today. It's beautiful out, and just kind of this morning I was watching the modified race with my oldest son, who's 7. And just those memories kind of come back to you, and what it kind of created in my life, right? What motorsports has brought for me. So it's a really special place. A lot of great memories. Hope to do it again. There's Daytona, there's Indy, there's the championship races. Those are all big ones. Right after that's always your home track, no matter where that is. And for me, it's here in New Hampshire. So just because, all the fans are here, they root for the New England guy, which is super cool. But also you have your family here, your friends, and those type of things. So celebrating in victory lane just has a different feeling. You know what I love about up here the most is the fans. I feel like so many times people think NASCAR and they think Southeastern sport. Nobody really knows New England's, like, there's some awesome race fans up here, and you see that even this morning. We're talking, it's 10:30. The modified race started at 9:30 this morning, and there's a ton of fans here watching the race for the modified. So you can imagine the Cup race and the truck race later. It's a great weekend for the New England motorsports fan, and I love seeing that, right? I wish you raced up here more because I enjoy it so much, but it is neat to see so many people show up. I told my son, we were driving up here yesterday, and I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna win Sunday. And I said, you grab one claw, I'm gonna grab the other. I said, no one's done that yet. And he's like, he was unsure about that. He's like, I don't know. He's like, is it gonna get me? I'm like, it's not gonna get you. Like, it'll be okay. So it's either that or I chase him around with it. It's one or the other. So.
All right, that's Joey Logano. So at the end, he's talking about, holding the lobster up with his son or chasing him around with it. But he had a lot of great things to say about the New England race fans around here and how many people were up there at the track. I mean, you had the wheel and modifieds. It was just one of those great weekends full of action-packed, kind of like what you guys do over at Seekonk every weekend. There's so many different levels and series racing all throughout, but great time to be up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, these people are passionate, the race fans in New England. This is the only real New England race that they get over the course of the year, especially to come in the NASCAR playoffs, the first race of the second round. Logano did pretty good, finishing the top 5. Ryan Blaney advancing to the round of 8. But a lot of good things going on at the National Series level with the NASCAR Cup Series. Very exciting championship battle going on there, the Xfinity Series. And you mentioned with me off the air the Truck Series with some local stars racing in that. Giovanni Ruggieri was in there, ran very well. Almost won one of the stages, was very competitive racing for the lead, finished well. Mike Christopher Jr., a modified standout from Connecticut, made his debut, ran really well. Tyler Tomasi was also in the race, who's run here locally.
Got the call a week before because Frankie Muniz is out.
That's right. Frankie Muniz is out with an injury. So the local flair was good. Cool to see all the people there. You can see there looking at the camera. There was a lot of people in the crowd. And NASCAR playoff weekend. Not going to be in the playoffs next year. They're moving it back up to August. But
I know.
Still, the fans love it. They want to see it continue.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, they raced there twice. Now they only race there once. So the fans are supporting it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and we need that because we need the fan support and we need to show how big it is around here because we were talking off the air before. It's like, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, there could come a point where NASCAR, pulls it at one point or another. But right now it's here to stay and they'll be moving it next week. But we're going to come back after the break and we're going to get into more of the local racing and what's going on because we have a big weekend here at Seekonk.
Yeah.
Champions will be crowned and we'll take a look at some of the drivers that'll be, the ones to look out for who could take the checkered flag or the win, and then we'll look at some of the guys who can make their way up and maybe steal the spotlight a little bit. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back here at Trackside Northeast. Kyle, let's talk about the championship weekend we have at Seekonk, and you're beginning Friday night at 7 o'clock, Fast Fridays. Explain what's going on.
Yeah, we have 5 different divisions raced on Friday over the course of the year. It starts with our youth racing in the Bandolero divisions. A younger division, they start around 7 or 8 years old. Then we have a little bit of an older division, goes up to about 14. And the way the championship weekend works here with our format is there's 4 drivers in each division that have made the championship 4, the fastest 4 cars. And in their race this week, the one that beats the other 3 in that race wins the track championship. So they've been fighting over the last 3 weeks to get into the Final 4. Now they're there. And it comes down to the last couple laps, basically in every race, on who's going to win. Our youth racers, probably the most fun I have at the track is working with the youth racers, starting at 7 or 8. And they have a great group of guys again this year. Looks like in the Bandit division, Landon Salamito's kind of the favorite. 6 wins this year, a couple wins in the playoffs, so he's going to be tough. In the Outlaws, it's really wide open. The older youth division, you got a female, Leah DeSoma, racing off against Mason Silva, Vincent Saro, and I can't think of the 4th member off the top of my head, but Ryder Aguirre is actually the 4th member. So the youth racing, that kicks off the night. That's the first champions we're going to crown in our 80th season, so that'll be exciting. We've got a 4-cylinder class that's had one driver pretty much dominate the whole year. Richie Johnson led a lot of the races, won a lot of the races, going to be a big, heavy favorite there. Pure stock division, more of a spec division with a young gun. Brent Roberto won the championship last year in his first ever year racing in that division. He won 6 races this year again, so he's going to be tough there. And then our Legend Cars division, a couple veterans against a couple young guns. Our Friday racing is a great mix of some young drivers, some veterans that kind of mix in. And you've even got an older crowd there on Friday as well. We've had drivers compete in their 60s in the Legend Cars in the last couple of years. So Friday's a great youth family night. Saturday is as well. But if you want to see kids race, see a bunch of families come down and celebrate with the kids after they win a championship, it's a big deal for a kid to win a championship.
And I hope the cleanup crew's ready because we all know how the last couple of laps work in any championship run.
It comes right down to the wire for sure. We were talking off the air the first year we did the playoff format. We had a car up on its side that won the championship, taking pictures. The picture went viral. So it's a cool deal to see these guys come right down to the end. You really see them put it all on the line in the last couple of laps. And again, from youth racing up to our NASCAR Saturdays, the budgets get more expensive in the race cars. The deeper we go in the divisions, the cars get more expensive. But the drive and determination to win a championship, it's the same in a 7-year-old as probably as it is in somebody my age or your age. They just want to win the championship when it's sitting right there in front of them. And that's on Friday. got a whole nother night on Saturdays. We have our NASCAR night, sanction night, the trucks, the sportsmen, the late models, and the pro stocks. 4 drivers there, once again, to win the championship. A guy you had in here a couple weeks ago, Rick Martin's been racing 51 years. I haven't even been alive that long. That's like half of my life.
Before we even thought Rick was winning races.
Yeah, he's been dominating divisions for many, many, many years. He's won the last 3 championships in the sport truck division. He's won 8 drivers' championships overall, 9 total. He won a championship as a car owner. So he's technically looking for his 10th short track racing championship at Seekonk this weekend, his 9th as a driver. But he's retiring from full-time racing.
I know.
At the end of the year.
You tell me about that. It was great to have him on the show because just like talking about the experience and, the changing of the guard and what he's done throughout his entire career, it was so impressive. But when you told me that, I was like, man, because I remember asking him and he didn't have a set answer. I know he's got the RC car track set up in his backyard, so he was excited for that. But I mean, to hear that, I was like, you know what? It was similar to what we were talking about before. If Hamlin wins it in the Cup Series, like you get to that point where you win it and you get out on top, kind of like what Michael Strahan did with the Giants.
Yeah.
You win it, you get out. Don't try to push it. Not everyone's Tom Brady,
Yeah, and Rick's been dealing with some health issues on and off, not only himself but in his family as well. Just kind of said it's time. I've been racing a very long time. He ran his 50th year last year. Kind of thought that might be his last year when he won the championship, but he came back out this year. He's made the Final Four again in the sport trucks. He's looking for his 4th consecutive championship. And there's very few stories over the course of the year that you look back on and say, wow, that would be cool to have as a champion that are of this magnitude. We have cool stories in all of our division, but the magnitude of this story, if this guy's able to go out there, beat the other 3 contenders, and win the championship in his final full-time year. He may run some races down the line in his life. He may not be done completely strapping on his helmet, but he's a Seekonk Wall of Fame member, New England Auto Racers Hall of Fame member. I can't think of a better way to end a career. I mean, you talk to him in here. He is pumped up to chase this championship once again.
Well, it's the 80th year, too. I mean, like, you have that. You'll have that as, like, the legacy right there if you win at the end. You have the 80th season. Like, you come in with all the success you have, and to end it on, even number right at the end and such a historical milestone, it'd be huge for him. And I feel like there's a lot of fans that would like to see it.
There's definitely a ton of fans that are going to be there specifically to watch him race in his final, what we're calling his final full-time race, at least. It might be his final race altogether. He's not 100% sure. He's got somebody else going to take the truck over. Scott's Studio's lined up to take the truck over, so he's definitely not going to be back on the truck next year. So we'll see it as the future goes and the years go by if we get him in for one more race down the line. That's kind of the old saying. But there's some heavy contenders he's going to have to race for that truck championship. Ethan Heilborn won our Triple Crown championship in the summer. He's in it. Jake Veneda's in the Final Four in the sport trucks this year as well. Once again, has come close. The last couple of years hasn't won. And the surprise in the trucks, Dane Saratelli, had great 2 weeks and has had a great summer in the sport truck, so he's going to be racing there. The big story we had this past weekend as we move into our championship week is the late model division. Charlie Rose is our most veteran late model driver. He's been doing it not as long as Rick Martin, but a very long time. And he entered this week out of the Final Four. Needed a big night. He won Saturday night to lock his way in. So he's one of the favorites in the late model division. Chase Belcher's also in there as well. He's led the points pretty much all year, if not all year. He's going to be really tough to beat in the late models. Mark Jennison's a former 3-time track champion. He's involved in the late models. And we have a sophomore contender, Andrew Gomes, a young driver that I mentioned in our youth division. He used to race in our youth division and has now moved up to our late model class. So there's this development of drivers that we start on Friday night, get them up through the ranks, and now we see one trying to win a championship in a NASCAR Saturday division. So you see a guy like Giovanni Ruggiero, who started with us racing in Bandoleros, Legend Cars, has made his way up to the Cup Series. Not all our youth drivers are going to get up. He didn't make it to the Cup Series. He's in the Truck Series. We hope he's going to make it to the Cup Series. We don't think all of our youth drivers are going to make it to the Truck and the Cup Series, but to see a guy like Andrew Gomes start in our Fast Friday youth racing, make his way up to our late model division, our second division from the top, it's pretty cool to see these kids make their way up.
Oh, yeah, and it's great to see when you have, I mean, even if you get all the way up to the levels of the trucks or the Cup Series, but even going throughout, just getting up from Friday to Saturday, it's good for the younger generation because when you see your idols work their way through the farm system, if you want to say, and get to that next level, you look at them saying, wow, I could do that, or I can give, that much effort and get that experience and be able to get to the next round.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Our sportsman division, very similar as well. Adam Petty, Colby Lambert, Jeremy Lambert, and Doug Benoit had a walk-off win last week to walk his way in. So those 4 battled out there. And then in our pro stocks, another big story, Dave Darling looking for his 9th track championship. in the pro stocks. He's had an up and down year, wasn't going to run the full season, decided to stick it out. He's got a chance for a 9th championship. He's joined by Jacob Burns, Bobby Pellin III, and our defending champion, Dylan Estrella as well. So 9 races, 4 drivers racing for the championship. The highest of the 4 in the race wins. But it's not like the NFL where it's only those 4 teams. There's still a lot of cars going to be racing in each division, racing in this competition. So they need to beat the other 3, but they also need to race the rest of the competition, which could create some drama there as they got to get around these guys without making too much contact. So these other guys will actually race them with respect. So it's going to come right down to the wire in all the divisions, and we are pumped up. Our 80th season of championship racing. Pretty cool to see it come right down to the wire here, and hoping to see a good turnout of the fans with us as well.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure you will. I mean, it's going to be a good weekend, race-wise, everything-wise. We're in that fall feeling where, it's the end of the summer and it's kind of the end of the racing year, but at the same time, it's one of the best times to get out there because we've all been out on the track and 90-plus degree weather, and it's just like, man, you got to run a vehicle right now.
I like this kind of weather, the light jacket, you know what I mean? I've been watching the weather for the weekend. It's a little bit chilly at night this time of year, so the light jacket, bring a jacket, and come down and join us. Our tickets are available online, so you can buy the tickets in advance, and look forward to seeing everybody there.
All right, perfect. We'll be right back after this 2-minute break, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the storylines throughout the year, who showed up, who surprised you, and who else is gearing up for a championship this weekend. All right, we're back here again with Kyle Souza. So, Kyle, tell me a little bit. You've been covering it all year. What were some of the biggest surprises this year around Seekonk Motor Speedway, whether it's drivers, storylines, or anything in between?
Well, you get down to the end of the season like this. Of course, the points accumulate all year to get to the playoffs. So you look at some of the storylines, specifically on Friday night. We've had a ton of first-time winners again this year.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of them are in the youth division. That, they're new to racing. And I don't remember exactly how many we've had, but let's just say we had 10 or more first-time winners at the track this year between Friday and Saturday night. A lot of them in our youth racing for sure, but that pure emotion when they get out of the car after winning the race for the first time, they're greeted by the families. We've been pretty lenient lately on the track of letting people celebrate for a little bit after they win their first race because you're never going to get that moment back.
Yeah,
when the kid climbs out with his first win. I mean, the adults, it's very exciting too when they win their first race. But that's one of the things that I'm most excited about when the kids win their first race, jumping on top of the car, jumping out of the car.
Doing everything they can, like when they see all the pro drivers do it or anyone in the higher ranks. Like, it's just don't pull a Connor Zilic. And just,
oh, man.
Watch out for watch out for those windows. Just go on top of the car.
It's so cool to see, though, when the kids win their first race for sure. And I think of some other storylines over the year. I mentioned Brent Robideau winning 6 races in his second year in the pure stocks. He's double digits for wins in the last 2 years. He's only been racing in this division for 2 years. He won it in his rookie year last year, won the championship. He's got a really good shot at doing it again this year. So that's a cool storyline there. Jacob Burns came out on fire in our Legend Cars division, won a bunch of races. He's won 6 times this year. He's got a great shot at winning the championship. But you look at our Legends Cars Championship Final 4, you've got an interesting dynamic with Jacob, won a bunch of races as a former champion in that division. But the guy I'm watching there, Josh Parsons, he's come so close to winning a championship in his career, never done it. Been racing the Legend Cars pretty much since we started with the Legend Cars back in 2012, 13. I can't remember the exact year. And he's always been in the top 5 in the championship battle and in the mix, but never sealed the deal for the championship. So he's a guy I'm watching this weekend as somebody can kind of put the extra foot to the floor and try to get ahead there in the final laps. But across our youth racing on Friday, across our spec divisions, I like to call them, our 4-cylinder, our pure stock, and into our Legend Cars. The Legend Cars run up and down the East Coast with a very similar rules package as well. You get a lot of drivers that are preparing for that next step. They're racing on Friday. I've heard from a lot of them in the last few weeks, hey, my car's going to be going up for sale because I'm going to move to Saturday in this division.
Oh, that's great.
And that's where the evolution comes from with our youth racers that have made their way all the way up to, say, Dylan Estrella, going for a 2nd straight Pro Stock Championship this year. He started in our youth racing many, many years ago, worked his way up as a champion there. He's a 4-time track champion, once in the Mini Cup division, 2 times in the late model, now 1 in the Pro Stock last year, and he's got a chance to win another one. So that evolution to me is very important that we see. But this time of year, Joe, too, the crowds increase, the excitement increases in the stands. It's always exciting. It's always a good crowd. But this time of year, there's nothing like going to a race for the championship. Just like for me or you, there'd be nothing like going to an NBA Finals game, a conference Finals game.
This
is it.
Atmosphere. You can't, and it's something that you can't explain until you go, until you see it, and then you're like, wow, you wish it was like it all the time, but there's a reason why it's only a certain time of the year. It gets everyone amped up.
Our racing is exciting all year. Our 80th season has been great. We've had some great races. Our weekly racing, we've had some touring series. We mentioned off the air, we had the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour in, rained out. We ran it on a Sunday, kind of unprecedented for us, with a great race there. Matt Hirschman dominating. We had our Open Wheel Wednesday again this year. We've already got some great events we're thinking about starting to line up for next year as well. So the evolution of 2025, even though it's almost over, there's still a lot of racing to go this weekend. Our Pumpkin Smash, crazy show. If you've never seen the Pumpkin Smash, it's quite the environment.
I think crazy is an understatement. It is wild.
Yeah.
It is beyond belief. Like when you show up, you're like, am I at a Monster Jam or am I at a race?
It's unbelievable, the amount of competition you'll see there, and just the pure excitement of watching pumpkins go flying through the air. Halloween's coming. I'll have our contest, usually with our costume contest, trick-or-treating, all that comes in that. And then everybody seems to forget that, like, our championship racing is over this weekend, but we're not done short track racing. We end the year at the end of October. I think it's October 25th this year. The Haunted 100 event. The Monaco Modifieds are in for a 100-lap modified race. The American Canadian Tour comes in for their championship race in their late model 100-lap feature, and an open street stock style event that we'll be releasing some more information on soon. We had that last year as well. So the racing season is not over. We're at the end of September. We've still got a month up here in New England. There's some other good racing going on in New England as well. Not only here at Seekonk, but after this weekend, Thompson's got their big 3-day World Series. It's 3 straight days of racing. So many different divisions line up there. Star Speedway had their Star Classic a couple of weeks ago, 18 divisions over 3 days. This is an exciting time of year. You'll have Lee USA Speedway with their Oktoberfest next weekend. It's an exciting time of year for the fans to come out and see basically every different division you can imagine. You will see at Lee and then Thompson. Street stocks, modifieds, super modifieds. Everything's going to be there over the course of a couple of days. And it's really an environment I love going to, being at some of these major events as the year comes down to the end.
All right, so let's get right to it. Finishing up here. So Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. Saturday night is 6 o'clock kickoff. And what time can you get over to the racetrack for most of the people beforehand? A couple hours beforehand? 3 hours?
So our gates open on Friday at 5:30. Gates open at 4 on Saturday. We obviously encourage you to buy your tickets online, seekonkspeedway.com. You can skip the line. It's actually a little bit cheaper online as well. So buy your tickets online. Come down and join us. And once you get there, grab a good seat. There's plenty of seats around the track. Grab a good seat and make sure, like I said, you got a jacket. I didn't think I'd need my jacket last weekend. I had to bring it out in the middle of the night. But, of course, our concession stands are wide open as well. This is one of your final opportunities to have a chicken and fries. There's nothing like good track food, the cheeseburger.
Oh.
It's just an environment that we probably shouldn't eat all the time.
Bring the Tums. Yeah. That's the best advice I can give. Just bring the Tums. You'll be fine.
Well, our concession stands have a ton of great food, Pepsi products. It's just... there's a lot more to the racetrack than just the racing on the track. With the environment in the stands, the conversations, the stuff going on in the midway, the relationships you'll build there. A lot of these people won't see each other again until May. So the fans come out and they enjoy more than just the racing. It's that relationship you build with people in the stands and that environment there that everybody really likes.
All right, Kyle, well, I appreciate you coming in today. It's always a pleasure. It's crazy. We were talking about it before. It felt like we just did our first episode together like last week.
Yeah.
That was months ago. So the season's gone by very quickly. To be sure to check out the CW's got the Xfinity race this weekend. They're out in Kansas. I believe it's a 3:30 start there. It is Saturday. And a lot more watching. So we got playoff racing through every level, and make sure to get out to Seekonk Speedway this weekend. It is going to be action-packed, and you're going to have some champions. And do you still have that contest going on? The contest.
That's right. Our pick'em contest. It's right on the front page of our website. You have to pick all 5 champions correctly on Friday, all 4 champions correctly on Saturday to be eligible. We've done this before with contests like this, and it's virtually impossible for somebody to be exactly right on every single division. It's very tough. But I've seen it happen. So maybe we'll submit an application too and see what happens, see if we can pick the winners. But that's a cool thing. Glad you brought that up. Something cool that fans can do. Go on the front page of our website. You can check out our schedules for the weekend there. Learn a little bit more about how the championship format works. And that pick'em contest is something you can print out, bring with you, and try to follow over the course of the weekend as well.
Perfect. All right. Pick them for the seconkcontest. Pick up your tickets and get out to Seekonk Speedway this weekend. Kyle, appreciate you coming in. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send me an email at joecortez@WPRI.com. It's Jay Cortez, actually. Let me correct myself. But Kyle, thanks for coming in once again. Hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week. Be safe, be well. Most importantly, be kind. We'll see you next week.